Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first official English stream. I'm Artcore, and with me here is Francisc, who is a developer at Alternativa, and he's also a game designer at Tanki X.
Hey there, guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Francisc. Yeah. First of all, I would like to apologize for making this event happen so late. I was planning on doing it in May, but things happen. You have work, or you don't know where to start from, or you just keep forgetting. so uh, I'm sorry. Just a second. Apparently, I have two streams open. All right. Yeah, so things are how they are. What's gonna happen today is basically we're gonna for the first part of the stream we are going to ask Francis here to tell us about himself, about the things about his job, what is he doing for Alternativa and for Tanki X. Then we are going to move into a Q&A section. I'm planning on splitting this one in two. Basically, we're going to have a 15 minutes Q&A first, then we're going to have a short break with a small giveaway, and then we're going to have the second part. At the end of that part, we're going to have another giveaway. We're going to play a few more, a few battles, and then we're gonna have probably another giveaway. I promised you that we're gonna have a few giveaways, so I'm gonna keep my promise. All right, so we had a little bit of difficulty setting up the stream, so it's not something fancy this time. We just didn't have time to prepare, but we've decided to go with it because it's useless to drag it more. Yeah, so Francisc, take the mic.
Yeah, I'm gonna hijack the discussion right now. Hey there, guys. I'm happy doing this now, working for quite a while for Tanki X, and I'm glad that I get the chance to interact more with the community and get to know you guys and get to know what you guys want to know, what you guys would like to see in the game, and things like that. As a big disclaimer, before we go on into much more advanced discussions, I want to make state clear that we're not experts in doing live streams. We don't do this often, and so basically bear with us. If you're gonna see weird stuff on the stream, if you're gonna hear us stutter or hesitate in some things, then obviously it's a given because it's live and we are not professionals. We're not content creators. We're not doing this day to day. So just bear with us. Thank you.
Yeah, so Francisc, how about we start by you telling us about yourself, about your career as a developer, and yeah, please.
Yeah, sure. So basically, I started my career, I think, 10 years ago or something like that. I'm a professional game designer. I worked for companies like Ubisoft before, and I've worked for some other indie companies. I worked in pretty much all platforms. I did games, and now I'm here with Alternativa because it was really, really awesome opportunity to work on a multiplayer game like this one. Before I was doing AAA games that not necessarily multiplayer. I was focused in on more AAA experience, and so I decided to take this experience and come into Tanki X and see if I can create a more high quality experience than it is in Tanki Online, and something different than our competitors. So basically now I'm here with Alternativa, and I am basically working on game design, user experience, user interface, and pretty much everything that needs work on. we are a pretty big team. I'm not obviously the only game designer. There is also Anastasia that you probably have seen in the devs diaries as well. There's obviously Vladimir that you keep seeing his face in the dev diary. Yeah, so basically why I am not in the dev diary, because I'm not working on site in Alternativa. I'm working remotely, so that is why now you're gonna see my house around here and stuff. So that is why I am not in the dev diary. Maybe someday when I get to visit the offices, maybe you'll see my face there as well. But basically, I am specialized in user experience, and this is what I do most of the time for Tanki X. I'm trying to convey a more accessible and also more advanced experience for not just for the existing players, but also for new players that would come in and would create a bigger community around the game. Just to be a little bit more specific, my responsibility covers mechanics, gameplay, the user interface, and how things should be in terms of flow. What are the steps that you should do as a player to upgrade, to purchase something, to finish the game, and stuff like that. And more so, we're working on the gameplay features, like what new things we should bring to the game, what things we don't like, what things we want to change. Yeah, so I can go on and talking about the needy details of all of the things that we're doing, but probably it's better to go ahead and at some point answer the specific questions that you guys have. You have put a lot of questions on the forum. I know that you have a lot of questions in general that we actually discussed on our Discord channel, which, by the way, for those of you that are not there and you are English speaking community of Tanki X and you want to be part of this community, I definitely would recommend you to go on the Discord channel. I'm pretty active there. We're definitely talking a lot of things there, so go ahead, and I think you have the link in the description from what I know. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. Now, obviously, it's much easier to answer questions than to just keep talking about myself, because it's gonna get awkward at some point. So yeah, let's go.
All right. Thank you, Francisc, for the introduction. All right, now let's get to answering some of the questions you guys have been asking on the forums. Earlier today, I've opened a topic on the forum in which I asked all of you, any of you who wants to ask Francis a question, you can write it down there, and we're gonna look through and then answer the questions we basically know the answer to. Francisc, I think you already had a few questions that you really liked, and can you start off with them? Francisc, just a second. Are people saying that your microphone is not working?
Oh, okay. Is it working right now? Sorry, guys.
Apparently.
I already told you that we're gonna have these sort of situations. I think it's gonna work now.
No sound, they say. Please unmute. No sound. I don't know why is that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna work right now. Yeah. Anyway, so I was going on through the questions from the forums, and I started talking about the first question. I'm gonna do that again, no problem. Yeah. So I was referring to the first question from the forum that I got, which was about what kind of software I use usually for game design, and I was saying that it's a very interesting question, which it doesn't have an answer because each and one of the game designers in general use their preferred software or their preferred suite of software. There's not a specific predefined software for game design because game design is this broad specialization in game design, in game development, and it encapsulates a lot of things. And obviously we're using Unity, for example, for Tanki X. We're developing the game in Unity 3D, so this is something that you need to know as a game developer, even if you're a game designer or an artist or a programmer. But basically a game designer, most of the time, he's getting into any kind of documentation. So I don't know, Office suite like Word, spreadsheets, and any kind of other software that you can use in connection with the documentation software that you use to illustrate your ideas, to see what kind of things you would like to explain to other developers so that they can understand it better. Me personally, I'm using Adobe Illustrator for mockups and explaining some of the mechanics or some of the things that we want to do there. Mind maps, but basically anything that could visualize my ideas in any way. We don't do there's no any kind of fancy software around game design. Okay, do you have any questions about this on the channel?
No, apparently no, I don't have, and people are enjoying it, so keep on going. Yeah.
As long as my microphone works.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's keep it alive. All right, I think we are done with this question, right?
Yeah. So
what's the next one?
So we have another question from the forum. Do you plan on changing the containers menu anytime soon? The answer is yes. And we're gonna rework some other screens as well, not just the containers menu. And we're changing the containers menu at some point, and we're thinking of changing some other things as well as how containers work. So yes, we're gonna change that at some point. Another question from the forum is how many major updates we'll be looking for in this year? And the answer for that is at least 2, most probably. If not 2, definitely a major one, at least 1 major update this year. And I'm not gonna talk a lot about that. I'm gonna be mysterious about it. So yeah, at least 2. I hope so. Okay, what is the number 1 priority for implementing right now? So the number 1 priority for right now that I can speak of is major gameplay changes across the board, and we're looking into changing the modules a bit, and at the same time we're continuing revamping the UI, and you have probably continued seeing a lot of changes in the UI lately, update by update, and we're looking into step by step changing all the UI and see how we can convey a more consistent user experience across the board. Also, I have seen a lot of questions about the coloring system right now. I know that a lot of people ask, okay, it's Frontier and Anteos, and Frontier has a color and the Anteos has another color. How's that gonna work, or how do you plan changing it? So basically what is important to know there is that Frontier and Anteos gonna most probably stay in the game as it is in terms of narrative and conveying the game world in a way or another. But in terms of coloring, the team's coloring, we're focusing in introducing a more consistent look into seeing enemies all the time red and your team all the time blue. This is really important because obviously red as a color, it just works well. It's universally it's about being bad. So probably it's gonna disappoint some people at some point that they cannot necessarily be red in the red team, but they can envision that they actually are in the red team because the other people from the other team will see them as a red team. Will we have more Tanki X dev briefings streams since this is number one? Yes, definitely. It's number one. We didn't call it like that, so we don't have any more afterwards. So yeah, we're gonna have more.
Yeah, we actually announced, like from my very first announcement, we made sure to communicate that this is not the only stream we're going to have. It's going to be a series. Yeah, so yes.
Yeah, okay. A bigger question here is some maps give one team more advantages in cover, terrain, camping spots, and flanking routes than the other team, which makes some battles noticeable unfair. Do you have plans on reworking maps at this point? So we are aware of the issues in the maps right now. It's not necessarily a top priority, but we are thinking of it. But that's a very big thing. It requires a lot of work and it requires a lot of thinking. So what I can say now is that we are well aware of the issues, well aware, for example, the advantage on having the higher ground in silence, or in having not the same distance to walk to the flag in other maps. So we are looking at these issues, and from my point of view, we're gonna rework them at some point. But it's not a top priority right now. It's not gonna be soon. Hopefully, we're gonna do it as fast as possible, but I don't know when. Can you explain us how new maps are made? So it's a pretty straightforward thing here. Usually we just have a pool of ideas and we just say, this sounds good, this should appeal to people. Sometimes, we're making pools and we're asking you about what would you like to see in a new map and stuff like that. But basically we have a pool of ideas, we pick one, and then after we pick one, we do kind of two things at the same time. We do the design of it, which is the layout on how it works, what kind of covers do we have, what is the flow of the map, where are the choke points, where are people gonna meet all of the time, where are people are gonna hide from each other and stuff like that. And at the same time, in parallel, the artist will create concept art pieces that will convey what the map would be about and where. And then these two things are gonna blend in together at some point. And when they blend, basically the map starts being in production officially, not in pre-production. Once we have a very rough sketch of what we want to do in the design, then we're going to start playtesting. We're going to start playing. We're going to see what kind of issues we have. Maybe some of the objectives that we had in the design wasn't really conveyed well enough, and we're going to do small adjustments to the map in metrics and in sizes. And after we're going to obviously playtest it, we're going to keep adding graphical assets. And usually a map in a very early stage, it looks like grayless, textureless map with cubes, which I find very appealing sometimes because it's much more simple. You see gameplay much more clear. You see what kind of metrics you have. You see how far you see someone, how far you can scope someone, or things like that. So yeah, that's in general the approach that we get into creating a new map. Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to add something about that. I just don't. Oh, exactly. Some of you guys on the forum have also asked if you are going to be offered the opportunity to create apps on your own in an editor. It's not that we don't want to answer that, is that we don't know, just to make sure. I think there were some plans on making this happen, but nothing is confirmed or something, and we are still busy with dealing with our current updates. So that's I know it's a really important thing, and people have been asking about it since like for a year now. And as soon as I will have something, I'm gonna make sure to let you know. Um, yeah. Francisc, do
Yeah,
you want to ask a few, answer a few questions from the stream
yeah,
chat?
sure thing.
All right.
I will.
So
Meanwhile, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go inside a game because it's easier
yeah,
to
sure.
like.
Yeah, so let's have let's say, because you're in game, let's split the conversation between the two of us, kind of.
Yeah.
So one of the questions about which I was about to talk today and tell you is, what were our thoughts behind the new anti-flipping update? Basically, the update that prevents hulls from flipping over. Well, it doesn't prevent like 100%, but in most of the cases. Well, we really wanted to, I think, to increase the dynamic of the game and have people earn more crystals. As I mentioned several times, it is not a final. I mean, the update is not confirmed to be implemented into the game permanently. It's just a test. We just want to know how you feel about it, if you enjoy it or not. We are aware that for some of the maps are not designed for such things. So some of the maps actually have certain parts where it is actually more interesting to deal with without this feature. So we are investigating. We have a list of things that we want to do, want to change, and this one is on the top of it. We are going to see how we can improve the system on certain maps. Um, Other things. Well, that is basically it. Yeah, no, we were developing the system, as far as I know, for something else, but we've decided to see how it works here. um all right, we have Francis, do you know anything about it? Anything more, like an additional info?
So yeah, it's just an experiment, and basically, from where that started is because that a lot of players are frustrated sometimes because most of the time there are some places in the maps, and this is related to the question for the maps, is that sometimes the maps are not necessarily polished enough because we are still in beta, we're still in early access, and because of that there are some portions of the map where you can flip very easily, or you can be, let's say, some tanks can have advantage on you if they know how to flip you, which is a thing that it can be fun sometimes, but it's not accessible. Because it's not accessible, a lot of new players are not really happy about that, and they are like, I would like to have some sort of ability to go back and be on my own feet. So right now it's just an experiment. All in all, I know this kind of like really controversial changes are not, let's say, attractive to all players, especially existing players. But these are the kind of things that we need to together understand what is the compromise and how could these sort of experiences can make the game actually stronger with a bigger community. So yeah, it's just an experiment. If we're gonna see that, and as we always do, if we're gonna see there is not a really good reception around it and nobody really likes it from the existing players, then we're gonna think about it, and we're gonna decide what kind of thing we're gonna do about it.
All right. Now remember, in about a week and a half, you are going to receive a survey in which we very much need your help, and we will need your answers in there, because they will basically decide whether the feature will stay in the game or will be modified or will just be removed completely. So yeah, make sure you stay tuned and answer and take that survey. Um, okay, one of the next questions is probably more addressed to me. Will Tanki X have a merchandise in the future? And people are screaming on the chat
Yeah,
about
that's a
it.
really good question.
Yeah, it is. It is, and obviously, Tanki X has a lot of potential for merchandise, and we are most probably thinking about having such things, but we will have to focus on the game first. We will have to make the game to improve the game before we can think about doing merchandise and other similar things. For now, we do have uh, t-shirts, we have mugs. We are planning on having something very cool very soon. You're gonna love it, but unfortunately, you will be able to acquire thing such a thing which I won't name, only by winning in contests like or in giveaways. We won't be selling those. Yeah, I can't tell you what exactly, but you are going to enjoy it. Okay, we have another question, and then I will ask Francis to share our first promo code on the screen. All right, but first let me answer the question. I'm just telling you so that you have it prepared. Okay, so will you add X crystals drop boxes like the gold boxes? Yes, no, and yeah, we did had such questions before, and the answer is unfortunately no. Okay, I'm gonna go for on with the next question because this one was short. Will we be able to buy different sounds for turrets and hulls? Well, that is pretty interesting. I'm liking the idea, kind of. But obviously, such a feature would require a lot of investigation and like a lot of development, because you don't want to make it like a one-time use thing. You will probably want to make it more complex, so that also it would also it won't interact with the game very it won't have a negative impact on the game.
Yeah, it's really
um,
important if we're gonna change anything that is related to sounds or too much visual feedback in the game. It's really important to convey it in such a way that the signs and feedback from a game design point of view will not be affected. As in, if someone gets a more clear feedback about some action or interaction in the game and someone will not, then it's going to be a difference of gameplay or perception around the game, around how the player perceives the game. So yeah, this is really important if we're gonna think of something like that. Where it's gonna definitely be additional work and see how we can convey it well enough in the game design paradigm.
yeah, so it's like all of these processes, like all of your ideas are cool. I mean, 80% of the ideas you come up with are interesting and cool, and a lot of them we already had in our books. But it's much more to it than just having the idea. Developing it takes a lot of time, a lot of resources, and yeah, it takes approvals. It takes, yeah, it's a whole it's a whole let's say chain of things that must happen. All right, Francis, are you ready to post the promo code?
I'm on it. Just a second.
All right, we are probably having a few issues with the stream.
No, it's just me. I'm being slow. So yeah, if meanwhile you can have and take another question, go ahead. So yeah.
It is laggy, though. Oh wow.
So
Okay, try to
one.
check it because I see it on the screen and it's froze. The screen is froze. Has froze.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Oh, that's what I see. Okay, let's. Okay, are we back?
I think so.
All right, then if we are back, um, yeah, I would like you to share the promo code with the
Okay, we
guys.
have the first code on
Yeah, so
the screen right now.
okay, so guys, be very quick. Um, we are going to keep it on screen for about a minute. Francis, can you move it a bit upwards because the Tanki X logo from YouTube is as over it, so people won't see it. Okay, thank you.
There you go. We have numbers on our heads now.
No, guys, it's redeemable several times. I won't tell you how many, but yeah. Just yeah. Basically, this stream of ours is basically a test. We really wanted to push on with it, so we don't postpone it even more. I will be thinking about better giveaways, better rewards, and maybe some really cool activities for our next stream. And maybe we can even play with the players and have some in-game events. I was thinking about those, but it was too late for us to add. But next time we're going to have everything in place. Don't worry. Um, yeah, please just activate it as soon as possible because it is set to expire. Of course. Um, we do answer chat questions. Give us some red questions. um, I will have X crystals shared in our next episode. All right, I promise. Um, okay, and in the meanwhile, maybe we can answer one more question. When will the Tanki X be officially launched? Estimate month, year? I don't know the answer to this question. I don't know it exactly, but what I can share with you my opinion, I think, about it, and I would say winter. Um, yeah, winter. Winter is my answer. Yeah, wishful thinking. Yeah. Uh, yeah, nobody actually knows an exact launching date yet. That's how sometimes things work. Um, all right, we have what does the hologram in the garage that shows some kind of a gun drone means? It means that we are probably gonna have a drone. That is what it means, obviously. We're gonna have a drone implemented as a model. Uh, Well, hmm. I remember that when we added those things, kind of Easter eggs, we were planning on having those, and that's actually everything I know as well. That the info might be outdated. I don't know, but if Francis doesn't know about it, that's a big issue. That means my information isn't accurate. um, yeah. So it's basically a yes and no. Probably yes, and Francis says kind of no. He just doesn't want it. Okay. I think we should remove the code now. I think a minute and something has passed. I think we, Francis, you missed the gold, bro. Apparently, yeah, there
A
was a
what?
gold on the map. There was a there was a gold box on the map when you joined and you missed it. I think our moderators has have shared the code in the chat somewhere. If you scroll up. Yeah. Oh, about the Xbox and PS4 launch, I also have no idea when exactly. The thing is that some of the things have been put on hold because of the updates that we've mentioned, because of the issues we've had with the updates that were supposed to be released earlier, like matchmaking. We had a few issues with matchmaking because obviously matchmaking is not a feature to be that is developed easily. It takes a lot of time, a lot of um, how you call it, um, uh,
It needs
uh,
a lot of thinking.
tests and thinking. Yeah, you basically sometimes you even go blind with an algorithm. You see how it works, and then you realize that you've missed something, and then you go back, you remake everything, and it's like a repetitive process, usually. um yeah, so
The matchmaking
things.
system, it's a really, really complex system because we are not just thinking on how to matchmake people and not have this sort of menu when you just choose whatever match you want and whatever map you want. And although this may sound good, it's not that good when you join a match that it just started and the teams are unbalanced, and in the first few minutes the team that has a disadvantage will have a disadvantage the whole game. And this is the main issue that I see right now. That is why we're working intensely on the matchmaking, and we're focusing in not just have the matchmaking as a simple way to put people in matches, but also put people into matches that make sense for them, that would convey their skill level and their masteries and their turrets and their overall experience with the game, so that the new players would not just go in the game and they will not know what to do, and they will just keep dying because of you experienced players. um, yeah, but at the same time, the experienced players want a challenge in general. So if they want a challenge, they want to fight against people that maybe they have the same amount of experience. So yeah, we're trying to take in account all of these variables and all of these performance variables that would convey a matching between players. And once you would hit the play button, you would find a match, and the match will start at the same time for everyone and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we have I think I think we're gonna limit ourselves to answering questions only today. I mean, um, uh, yeah. Um, we have another question which sounds like this. In one of the last developer diaries, you talked about two new maps. One of them was RS. Will we get the other new map this month, or do we have to wait longer?
You'll have to wait
You,
longer.
yeah. But the good thing is that the map is really cool, and it has new things that haven't been. I mean, new features, new functionalities, kind of. It will be very cool, very interesting. Actually, like there is no secret that in our last developers diary there is a screenshot of the new map somewhere, like it's on screen for like a second or two. Yeah, just ask around players, they will know. I don't remember at what timestamp, but it's in there somewhere. Another one is, will we be able to go back to the garage during games?
During games?
Du- during a battle. During a battle, yeah.
No, no.
Unfortunately.
Well, who put this question should better also maybe answer my question. Like, why would you like to do that?
I think
Or
this
maybe the
feature.
more let's say correct question would be, will if players would maybe be able to change the turrets while they're playing, right? It's something
Mhm.
that people may have seen in other games, that you have these presets that you're doing, these loadouts that you maybe in some games can change during a battle, during the frags. Let's say once you die, you would have the opportunity to change the turret. I'm not gonna say no to that, but I'm not gonna say yes at the same time, because we need to look into it. I'm not gonna promise anything. I don't know. It's something that I would like to try personally, but it's not in the plan right now. And definitely you'll not be able to go into the garage, because this will mean that you would have a lot of strategic advantage in changing your modules and changing some of the turrets. Maybe you go in a battle and you have a turret and a hull that are much more powerful, and then you change to even more powerful turrets or hulls, and that would not be fair for other players that don't have these presets or don't have these levels, these skill levels, and that for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, people are asking because such a feature, I think it is still, or it was implemented in Tanki Online.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's still in the game, but or they or whether they removed it. But yeah, Tanki Online is not Tanki X.
Yeah, and will never be. I mean, obviously, a lot of people play Tanki Online before, but what is generally need to be known is that Tankies is not trying to be Tanki Online. It tries to be something else. It tries to convey other values in terms of gameplay. So it's definitely Tanki Online. It's a reference in some of the things. It was a reference in some of the things, but we are trying to go away from it.
Right. All right. Do you have, Francis, some other questions from the forum that you want to answer?
Yeah, but I'm playing a game now, man.
Okay, then. Okay.
And I'm kidding. I'm gonna
I'm gonna
go.
ask. No, you can finish the game. Don't disappoint your team.
I already
Um,
disappointed two teams. I,
I
don't
still
do
have a.
this. I'm gonna say, don't do this at home. Do not leave games, because when we're gonna have the matchmaking system, we're gonna most probably have a bigger penalty if you're gonna leave the game.
Yeah, so take care. I mean, you have the presets now. Make sure you customize them right, and you are set with those. Well, look, is that Trabe in the game you're playing with? I don't think.
The what?
Or Danny. No, I was looking at your screen and I thought there is one of our players playing with
Oh.
you in the game. Anyways, I'm gonna answer. Then we're gonna answer a few more questions from the chat.
Go ahead.
Mm, Okay, there is one question that just hopped out on the stream chat. On the Steam side, you can read something about ranked mode. When will we get this, and how do you want to introduce it with the game being relatively easy?
So yeah,
That's interesting.
um, we're not gonna have per se a ranked mode most probably, but we're gonna have some game modes that will not be included in the player ranking, the performance that would be measured of the players. So it's not per se a ranked mode like you see in other games, but the way that we're gonna do this, the game will most probably change in gameplay at some point more drastically, and this will convey a more skill-based gameplay, and the ranking of players and the matchmaking will reflect your way of playing and your skill level. This skill level will be calculated separately than the matchmaking, and it will count into the matchmaking at some point. But I don't want to talk more about that right now because it's something that it's work in progress. I don't want to say too much there. But a very direct rank mode we're not gonna probably have. And hey, we won. Woohoo!
All right, good job for winning the match. Nice. Um, somebody,
Somebody stop me.
somebody stop me. Someone on the, where was that? Yeah, there was a question about tournaments and clans, esports in general. I will have to say that I don't know exactly. I mean, I don't want to be rude, but I think you've been taught bad on esports while you were playing Tanki online, and like you have a very they have narrowed your vision towards esports. Now, yeah, I mean, esports and competitive, yeah, one goes with the other, but they are not they're not exactly the same things. Um, in terms of competitive, yeah, I'm very keen on making this game as competitive, and I'm very keen on working with you guys to introduce this competitive scent to our into our community. I hope that the game will allow us to do that. And I'm looking at Francis, but we are trying. Everybody's trying. Our developer is trying. Our developers are trying. And yes, we will have tournaments and maybe even weekly cups as soon as private private battles are released. I think, yeah, I'm trying to collaborate with our staff to make it happen as soon as possible. um yes. Francis,
So should I
a few
go
more questions
to the
from the
questions
forum.
from the forum? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, let's go through a few. Mhm. Francis, there is a problem with microphone again. What?
Okay, can you? I think it's gonna be all right now. Okay, so some questions from the forums. We have some questions from uh, Hunchback HBK. Actually, a set of questions. So, what are other games that you and the team look at for inspiration? So, the games that we generally look at are other multiplayer games. We're not looking at really realistic experiences like, for example, World of Tanks or games like that. We're looking more into any kind of multiplayer game that conveys a more fast-paced approach to the gameplay, a more accessible approach to the gameplay. Not games that take themselves too serious. For example, most of the features that I implemented, and we're going to implement more into the UI. For example, we're looking closely at games like Titanfall or Call of Duty, or in general first-person shooters or multiplayer games that convey matchmaking in a way or another, like MOBAs, League of Legends, pretty much any major popular multiplayer game that we could draw upon some features in the UI or in the user experience and stuff like that. Now, I wanted to point, I have 27 friend requests. Oh my god. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Another question from him is, what are your personal favorite games, new and old? So when I'm talking about my favorite game, probably old, it's gonna be the Max Payne series. Max Payne, definitely. And I know that Arcwork has also probably a fall for that as well.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
And as a new games, definitely the Dark Souls series. I'm a huge fan of RPGs. I'm a huge fan of combat systems like Dark Souls. So I play a lot of Dark Souls. But yeah, I really enjoy playing really difficult games in general. Okay, how much do you play this game and others, and which ones? Well, I already pointed out. Lately, I've been played a lot of Players Unknown Battlegrounds. But in general, I play Tanki X every day, obviously, because I'm working on it and I test a lot of things, or I want to interact with the community. I want to see how things are in the game and how they feel and so on. So I play almost every day, excluding the weekends sometimes. Yeah. What feature would you most like to implement in the game that is unlikely to ever be implemented? Now you're basically telling me what is the thing that you want to do and the team doesn't agree with you. So, well, probably is gonna be. This is a really tough question, actually. Probably a racing mode. I mean, yeah. Probably a racing mode, which I would like to have as a fun game mode. Like tanks would not have weapons, would just have a turret that would just shoot, I don't know, maybe water and would just push other tanks. But yeah, racing mode, and you would have a new map and you would race with other tanks. I think that
or
would
maybe
be...
they can have turrets that shoot some kind of a blast that will allow them to turn faster, kind of in a way that
I mean, definitely I'm envisioning it as in when you go into the game mode, the tanks are much more faster. They have a little bit different physics, so you can actually race and have a more pumped up experience, and a big map that would have a course, obviously. Okay, so let me take just a few more other questions from the forums. And by the way, Hunchback, really appreciate the fact that you said that you appreciate the devs' willingness to experiment with radical new ideas, and I appreciate that. I mean, it's really hard sometimes to do these sort of things, especially with a community that has a lot of things to say. They are very serious about it, and it's very hard to make everyone happy. It's very hard to convey new features that would be fair for everyone, and obviously it's very hard to try to please everybody. So we're trying to avoid that. Actually, we're trying to create our own bubble sometimes, and to say this is the right thing to do for the game, and we know why, because we have a thought process behind it. We are obviously listening to the community, but sometimes A community-driven development like we have in Tanki X is definitely very hard to manage, and as long as we want to listen as much as possible, at the same time we need to force some things. We need to make radical decisions so we can make the game much more accessible and much more, let's say, friendly with new players as well. This would probably mean for some of you, like, oh, you want to dumb down the game, it's going to be really, really bad. No, we're trying to please the two segments as much as possible, but at the same time try new things as much as possible. Okay, another question from the forum.
I think we should try to answer those who are somewhere, somewhere on the bottom, just to try and like not ignore those who have.
I'm going there. Will release more big updates this month? No, definitely not. We're gonna do just small updates for now. And I don't know where we're gonna do a big update.
It really depends
on what big update means.
Yeah, exactly. What big update means. No. Yeah. Let's see. Abo 321. He has like 15 questions. Maybe we can pick a few of them and answer. And I mean, guys, like if you have like if there are questions that we don't I mean, you don't hear to be answered here, it's not because we don't want to answer them. It's because we either don't know the answer to. Some of them, of course, are questions with that answering them would disclose some of the things we don't want to disclose for now. And also, like this topic, I'm gonna try to keep it and use it for our next stream, and maybe we can have some of our other developers answering some of like other questions, maybe in which they are proficient in, like it may be covers their side, you know, their area. Okay, Francisc.
Yeah.
Anything interesting in there?
A lot of people are asking about modules, especially Beppo. So, Beppo, you're asking that what could we expect in terms of modules balancing in the next module update / batch. So, the module discussion is a really complicated one at this point. As we're speaking, we are in development in changing the modules a bit. In terms of balancing them, we're doing it at the same time with the changes so that the balancing changes would actually make sense in the overall changes that we'll do for the modules. And when I'm talking about changes, I'm talking here about making them a little bit easier to understand, one, and the second, in total, you will be able to have more modules. We're gonna probably have 6 instead of 5, but this will be obviously on a higher rank. Another question here is the modules bonus effect is very unbalanced and pay to win, especially the damage one. What will happen about that? So yeah, this is exactly the issues that we're addressing in these big changes. Will module slots change specifically for heavy hulls? Not specifically. The module slots will change in both numbers and how they work and amount of numbers they're gonna be on the tank. We're gonna most probably have free modules on the turret and free modules for the hull, and these can be combined in any way that you would want. Some modules will be specifically for the hulls, some modules will be specifically for the turrets. Okay. Will module statistics depend on the battle's mastery? A really tough question. I'd rather not answer that one right now. We're currently working on that. We're thinking about it. Okay. Regardless of balance and game mechanic, personally, what module would you love to add? So I'm gonna be a bit harsh here, because when we're talking about new features in general, or when we're talking about, for example, the latest anti-flipping kind of physics, people are always thinking about, hey, why won't you add this as a module? Now, this is like the poor man's solution of, oh, you have really shitty feature ideas, just put them in the modules. If someone's going to have them, we're going to use them anyway, right? It's not like that. The modules are not the solution for things. The modules need to be an extension to your experience and to customize your gameplay, the way you want to play the game, the way you want to beat other players. But in general, when we have new features, and we want to change the overall gameplay as it is, we want to change it in a way that would be a solution across the board, not a solution that it's optional for the players. That is why we can go back to the discussion that sometimes we enforce new features or we enforce changes. And when somebody doesn't like the changes, they're going to say, why don't you add it as a module? Which is not an option, because the modules are an extension of gameplay, is not a dumpster, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
One more from Bebo. So, how's the development on stickers going? It's going well. That's all.
Yeah, it's going well. However, it is a bit put on hold. I asked Anastasia just before the stream a bit, and it is on hold for a couple of weeks, just because we need everybody focused on the updates that are up and coming. Yeah, but it is in plans. It's still going to be released. I think by the end of. I'm not gonna give you any release dates, because things change. But yeah, it's as Francis said, it's going pretty good. Mm, all right, Francis,
Yep.
do you want us to share another promo code with
Sure
these
thing.
guys, and then I don't know if I think we're kind of done with the questions for today. I mean, there are a lot of questions, but we will leave them for our next episode. Yeah, I want to propose a thing. Let's you will pick the question that you liked, just simply liked, enjoyed the most from the forum, and I will pick the question that I liked or I really enjoyed from the chat, and we are going to reward these guys three twins containers each. What do you say about that?
Yeah, sure. We can do
All
that.
right, but
We
first,
have the code on the screen right now.
which wait, no,
The second code.
no.
I'm not the community manager, man. You're the community manager.
All right, guys. Who redeems this first? Okay, already redeemed.
Perfect.
Yeah, whoever redeemed that code got really lucky. Yeah, it's all right.
Hey,
It's fun.
man. I'm a game designer. I don't know these sort of things.
It's fun. It's fun, man. Okay, and we're going to share another code. Just please wait a bit. I wasn't actually planning for this, but since you guys have been an awesome audience for us and you've supported our kind of sketchy stream, let's say, we're going to reward you with another promo code. So just wait a bit. Hmm. Yeah, three twins containers. That is what that promo code was containing. That's pretty awesome. Eh? um. Okay, I'm gonna do the following. I'm gonna tell you actually. Wait. Uh, Francisc,
Yeah.
will you be kind and find a way to share this promo code on the screen? They will. People will love it.
So should I replace this one that we have now?
Yeah. Just remove it. It had one activation only, and it was it was one of the codes that. No, it's okay. Don't worry. I mean, things happen, and it's fun when they happen. Just I hope nobody's sad because they didn't get to activate it first.
Don't be sad, guys. You you found out a lot of things today. Hopefully, or you didn't found anything and you're very unsatisfied and you're mad at us and you don't want us anymore.
Is this the new one you've shared?
Yeah.
All right, guys, hop. Yeah, it is a Mars container because they are now removed from the game, and I've decided to give you one more chance to win a Mars container.
Okay. Some other questions until we choose.
Okay.
Are hit zones still in consideration of change? Yes. Mostly regarding the maps. Like what are the things that you may be able to shoot through, and the hit zone of the tanks. Yes, a bit. As the game designer, what is the hardest section to work with related to the game? I'm gonna need to say, and I know that Anastasia is gonna really agree on me with this. It's balancing. Like balancing is the most hard thing to do in any kind of multiplayer emergent gameplay environment, and yeah, it's definitely balancing. Personally, looking ahead 5 years, and how will you see Tanki X doing? What would you expect it to be like? How hard is it to say? It's very hard, actually. I think it's gonna be really different because in 5 years, a lot of things change. The game industry is constantly evolving, and we evolve with it. So I think Tanki X in 5 years will be very different. Will be much more polished. Will definitely be alive and well. Hopefully, also released. No, I'm kidding. And probably in 10 years it's gonna be released, not 5. Jesus. Now, so yeah, it's definitely gonna be really different, but it's gonna look better. I think we're gonna have new graphical boards until then and new technologies. Maybe it's gonna work in VR. I don't know.
Oh, Tanki X in VR. That's interesting. All right. And let's just pick another questions from the bottom of the forum of the topic. I'm trying to find a good one.
Well, we kind of answered most of them actually by the looks
by
of it.
answering other questions.
But if will graphics become better? Well, yes, I think so. But at the same time, we need to think a lot about the players that don't have very good rigs. And I know that a lot of players play Plant Tankies. They're really devoted to the game, and they do not have very powerful PCs. So as long as we want to add more graphical changes and improvements, we're going to do it very carefully so that the experience for the players that don't have really powerful PCs will maintain as it is right now, or even better for them. So as we implement new graphical improvements, we also need to make sure that we optimize them well enough, which optimization is really hard in general, given the fact that the team right now, and I know that I saw a question about how big is the team and something like that. I can assure you that the team right now, it's not so big. Like, for as the game is right now, as big as it is, the team is not as big as it should be for the game. That is why we're struggling on some things. Some things are holding us back in doing them faster. So yeah, bear with us. We're not very big. Yeah.
All right, then, guys.
Let's
I
choose the
think,
questions, right?
yeah. Let's pick. Have you thought about a question already?
Yeah, I have a winner already.
All right, who is the winner?
You go first.
Okay then. I'm gonna have to look again on the list. Mm, bum 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 bum. Mm, yeah. Some of the questions here are really cool, but I think I will have to go with the rap queen. I think the question about merchandise. I mean, it's a good question, and people probably, I mean, really want to know about that. Um, yeah, yeah. So it's rap queen on my side with the question: will Tanki X have a merchandise in the near future? Okay, who is your winner?
Congratulations.
Who
Well,
is your winner?
my winner, actually, he made a really big post. He asked some questions that may be a little bit controversial, and definitely he didn't got an answer for them yet. But also at the same time, really interesting questions. So it's Hunchback, if I'm not getting it right.
Hunchback. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
Hunchback HBK, HBK4SP.
Okay. Yeah, I really think Hunchback's question questions were really cool. I mean, they opened us the way to answer a few questions that probably like many they didn't think about, but were curious about. Let's say. Yeah. So we have Trap Queen and Hunchback as the winners. Trap Queen. Anybody knows what's the nickname of the Trap Queen? I would. Mm, Let me
So
look if.
just to give a bonus there. So Hunchback, I see the chat actually now, which is good.
Mhm.
You have a chance to put one more interesting question, so you can prove that you're actually a winner. So put a really really mindful question right now for me.
Come on, Hanji. Okay, I found out the nickname of the Trap Queen. It's that one Leo. Okay, Hanji, we are waiting for your really, really awesome Uber question of doom. Yeah.
If you want.
He was on. I think he's
Yeah,
scratching.
yeah.
Yeah, different one, right?
No pressure, no pressure. Yes, different one. So if you're gonna put a question that is already on the forum post and you didn't get an answer, you won't get an answer right now.
That would have been actually pretty smart from him.
Yeah, so you already asked if you want a different one. That's it. No, I can't go ahead.
I did answer about the question about Tanki X on PlayStation and Xbox. So Yeah, it is planned. Okay, the question is there, Francis.
Do you
Uh,
love
do you love?
Striker? Maybe I'm a noob, but who is Striker? I have no clue what he's talking about.
Hmm.
Hunchback, what did you do?
Oh, wow. Did he just curse?
I don't know.
Oh man,
I'm
I
gonna
thought
cry
you were
now.
one of the good guys.
So, yes, I love Striker. Obviously, I love a lot of things. I have no idea who is Striker, but
It
yeah,
is a turret from Tanki Online.
right. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not a game designer on Tanky Online.
Okay, so his second question is, will you come back for another episode?
Well, will I? Yeah, I'm gonna ask you in this one. This is actually a question for you.
For
If
me,
yeah, actually, if you guys really enjoy this, obviously I'm gonna come back. If you hated me, I'm not gonna come back.
I would love Francis to come back.
So yeah, probably yes. And I'm gonna look into Striker. But yeah, thank you for mentioning it. You really embarrassed me there, so you're a winner.
Oh, right. Well, he embarrassed me too, kind of. I also didn't know until I read the chat.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say is, because we don't have too many English speaking developers, it's it's only logic that Francis will end up on this stream probably more often than he wants to.
I don't know Russian. We want to
He,
expand the English community, so it makes sense for us to interact more and try to also work together with you guys in bringing more people in the game. Well, as we are improving the game, we're expecting that the new players will have a much better experience, and the only way that we can expand the community and you guys would have someone to play with is to help us raise the community, help us raise awareness about the game and how awesome is the game in some things, how not awesome is the game in other things, but we are trying to improve them and help us grow. And you would grow with us as well.
that is an awesome speech.
I don't speak Russian, by the way, if someone asked here. So
No, he does not. Actually, people, I don't know, I don't think many know that we are from the same city.
probably not.
Yeah, and we are in real life friends. Yeah. Um.
Okay, I think
All
if
right.
that's pretty much it. I think we can wrap this up, right?
Yeah, we do, and we should.
Okay, guys.
We all
So
have plans.
one closing from me. So really, thank you for joining us here. I know that it wasn't easy to witness the problems with the stream or the awkwardness from us. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us and keep supporting us. And we're gonna probably hear each other in the next stream.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. J- just like Francisca, I want to thank you guys for being awesome and for keeping the chat very, very, let's say, very, very cool. For not going crazy on it. For those of you who activated, who redeemed the code, congratulations. For those who did not, stay tuned. I mean, join us next time. Haha, join us next time. We are going to share more promo codes with you. Yeah. So also, I think it's only legit if we add the forum topic with questions to the description of this video, so that you can add more questions that you have for the next episode. Yeah. Other than that, I'm sorry that some of you didn't get the answers they wanted to, but yeah, we will try to get them next time. Thank you once again, guys. Thank you, everybody. Play it more Tanki X. Actually, I'm gonna play some Tanki X in this weekend. I'm gonna probably join on Discord, and you guys will be able to play with me. Yeah, that's it. Have a nice evening. Have a nice weekend, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys, and see you next time. I'm gonna accept all of the friend requests. Don't worry, but it's gonna probably last a while. Thank you again. See you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.